The focus of this lesson is on finding the difference between two rational functions f and g. And so to start off, whenever we're adding or subtracting rational functions, we need to determine what is our least common denominator. Well, in this case, f tells us we need the factor of x plus 1, and then g tells us we also need x plus 1, but we already have that accounted for. So that is they already share a common denominator, so it is x plus 1. And so normally what you would do is you would rewrite each function with the common denominator. So in this case, the x plus 1, and then you would change your numerators accordingly. But there is no change in our numerators. And then we do want to subtract because the original problem says to subtract. And then whenever you're subtracting two rational expressions, it's really important that you distribute that negative or that subtraction sign over the entire numerator of that second fraction. And so when I put these together and rewrite them as one fraction, I get 5x minus 1 minus 4x minus 10 from distributing all over x plus 1. And then I would simplify. What's 5x minus 4x? Negative 1 minus 10 all over x plus 1. And if there was anything left to factor out or cancel, I would do that, but my fraction and my rational expression is now reduced down. So this is f minus g of x. To find the domain of f minus g, we have to look at the domain for f and the domain for g, and then we're going to look at the intersection of the domain of f and g, and that'll be our domain overall for f minus g. So f tells us that x is not allowed to be negative 1 because that would make the denominator of f 0, and we can never have division by 0. G tells us the same thing, that x can't be negative 1. So if you put those two ideas together, at the end of the day, x is not allowed to be negative 1. And so your domain would be everything but negative 1. So put a parenthesis at negative 1, do a union, and pick back up at negative 1 to infinity. And this shows that our domain is everything but negative 1.